Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of my channel where I'll be doing a preview of the Geelong game this coming Sunday, 20th July, down at Cardinia Park, GMHBA or School Stadium, known by a few names, at the hometown of Geelong, or the home ground of Geelong Football Club, down the highway. I think it's the early game, 1:10 p.m. Before I start, just wanted to take this opportunity to wish that you all had a great week so far. A lovely Thursday. Almost the end of another quick week, have to admit. Been pretty chill here in Melbourne, but hope you're all staying dry and keeping warm. Okay. Big game this Sunday, no doubt. At least for Geelong. They're trying to maintain their top four aspirations. And would look at this opportunity or this game as another chance to win. Percentage booster? Maybe not. But a chance to bank the 4 points and go. As for St Kilda, at least trying to get some reward for effort. If you saw my last video, it was about the review to the narrow loss to Sydney. 5 points, just under a quick. Those moments. The Brodie Grundy tap to Errol Goulden, looking out for those key moments that decides the game literally. So at least trying to get that reward for effort, trying to finish the season on a high and build for next year and beyond. Okay, because with St Kilda they're looking to get big names. Early this morning I read the news about them looking to land Leek Elliott, a tall defender from GWS, who's a very good young talented defender. He's looking likely to come, and that's really exciting. That will just bolster the backline even more to help guys like Taru, just to be a chop out to Wilkie, Webster, and the halfbacks Naz, Sinks, and Liam Stocker. So that's really good to know, and TDK I think is pretty much a lock to come in. So it's really good, and looking forward to adding more to that as well. It's going to be a busy off season for the Saints, no doubt. It's probably one of my favourite parts of this year, to be honest, because in terms of who are we bringing and how they're going to add to the list and to bolster it for next year and beyond. Without much ado, would like to talk about the upcoming game against Geelong. Geelong last week coming with their backs to the wall. After a loss to GWS up in Sydney by 40 points or so. They don't seem to travel that well away, Geelong, I have to admit. They lost to St Kilda earlier this year at Marble too. So coming with the backs to the wall, would love to come into this game to make a lot of amends. Firstly, to bounce back in front of their home crowd this Sunday at Geelong. And secondly, to try and see if they can get their sweet revenge on St Kilda. Just kindly note with the statistics, St Kilda have had the wood over Geelong in the last 4 years. And especially at Marvel Stadium, Geelong just don't find a way to beat St Kilda. St Kilda have had the wood. That said, Geelong have had the wood over St Kilda at the School Stadium. The last time that St Kilda beat Geelong up at School Stadium in their home deck was in 1999. Yes, 1999. 26 years ago. Almost 3 decades. 2.5 to 3 decades, isn't it? That's a long, long time. I was in my primary school back in the day, so yeah, it is a very, very long time. And Geelong will try and extend that, streak, and St Kilda should try and end that hoodoo. It's going to be a massive ask to end that hoodoo because Geelong rarely lose there, and it's going to take a mammoth effort for the boys to try and get the 4 points. But on the flip side, it's a chance for the boys to get away, with Ross Lyon and the coaching staff. Bond together and show the fans and supporters what they can do against a formidable opponent at their home deck, at their fortress. Okay, one thing I'm not worrying about this game is I expect us to continue bringing good effort. There's no doubt about that. I expect us to bring some intensity, heat, no doubt about that. I expect it to be a bit of a slog as well. Whether that'll be enough to get a win, I'm not sure. Don't want to say anything and get my hopes up, but bring in what can get us some hope is the effort, intensity, and skill execution. That third option, the third skill execution, or the metric I should say, is what's killing us at the moment. Not badly, but it's not getting us the 4 points. Moments, trying to kick straight for goal. We do a lot right on the stats. We're not fluking the stats. We're doing a lot right, but we fall short on the final result because of critical moments. Unfortunately, when you win the stats don't necessarily help you in key moments. Your moments come with a lot of things, other factors. It's driven by things like your mindset, a good presence of mind, accountability, other sort of attributes and traits that's required in each and every player. So that's going to be another focus. And the other thing that I'm looking forward to is not to give away junk time goals, be it Geelong leading or a St Kilda lead. Those late time goals, known as junk goals, in each quarter, that can either bring down the morale, or you're either inviting Geelong back into the game. Could be one of two things. No matter how well the game's going in whichever favour, junk time goals, especially to the opposition, nah, it's a no-no. So we've got to be mindful of that. We have to be on our toes. The key strengths of Geelong, I would like to say, okay, and how we can get them. They're a very good contested side, a very good running team as well. Chris Scott loves to see them run through the corridor, take the game on. They're not necessarily a high-scoring team at all times, but they're a very resilient side. Even when you think they're down and out and they have no chance, they just find a way. They just use their class and find a way. So to stop their run and carry, stop their spread across the ground, their contested possessions, and up your up your pressure against them is what will help them help the Saints get over the line. Because once St Kilda's pressure is very good. Once it's very good, either A, you're going to have to work your backside off to beat St Kilda, or B, it could lead to a St Kilda victory. So, got to maintain the pressure, which I expect, maintain the intensity. Look, being a developing side, it's a bonus if they can maintain the pressure for 4 quarters, but I don't want them to drop their head. Mistakes are going to happen, but don't drop your head. That's the worst thing any player can do. Continue, have your head up, because it's part of the learning. You will make some mistakes here and there, but don't let it get the better of you. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing from the Saints. Key matchups, some absolute crucial matchups. Jeremy Cameron was not that much sided. Last time he played on Wilkie, I think Callum Wilkie will get the job on him again. He only kicked 1 goal at Marvel. He rarely dominates against Wilkie. Could be a different ballgame at Catteryland and in Geelong's home ground, but you'd rarely see him dominate against Callum Wilkie. So looking forward to that enthralling matchup, and hopefully Wilkie can get the chocolates with him. Mind you, it's Callum Wilkie's 150th game. What a great vice-captain, great player and an asset for the club. Came as a mature age recruit in 2019, once our previous defender Dylan Robertson at the time, an ex-Fremantle player, came to St Kilda, retired due to concussion issues. So Callum Wilkie was recruited. He's an Adelaide boy, chartered accountant by profession. What our backline would have been if we didn't have him, hard to describe, because he is like the brick wall of that backline. He holds that backline together. Has not missed a game. He's the Jack Crisp of St Kilda. Has not missed a game, mind you. Both are left footers. Crisp is left foot. Callum Wilkie's a left footer himself. He rarely misses a game. Such a fit bloke, and I really hope the boys put up a good show for him and give Geelong a good game. I really hope, because he's not a nobody. He's one of the best. He's an All-Australian. He's the best and fairest. A super player. People talk about Josh Battle going to Hawthorn. What a thing. But guess what? He's not Callum Wilkie. Callum Wilkie's our number 1 defender by a mile. And you see the way Taru's working with him and how Taru's learning off him. That's great. So for a young bloke in Taru. So I really hope they have a good show. So I really hope he also has a good matchup on Cameron, not giving away too many goals or conceding too many goals to Cameron on his milestone game. I doubt that will happen. Not a bag. Another crucial matchup will be Pat Dangerfield on one of McRae's Steel, or maybe a Liam Stocker. That's another huge matchup. Danger, cannot believe he's 35. Doesn't play like he's 35. He can still win the game off his own boot. You just have to... He doesn't have to have a perfect game to take the game away from you, but he finds moments, and those moments can break your heart. And he's a classy player. He's an absolute class. I won't be surprised if Dangerfield goes around again for Geelong next year, for one more year. I will not be one bit surprised, because he is such a valuable player for them, and he's not showing any signs of slowing down, Dangerfield. Absolute super player. That'll be a crucial matchup. Got to not let him get to his A-grade game. If he does, trouble will be sniffing, and it will sniff pretty badly. So here's another matchup. Max Holmes, another crucial player for them. I know Marcus Windhager had the job on him. Did a good job on him earlier this year when we beat Geelong in an upset. So hoping Windy gets a job on him and actually tries to quell his influence, because Holmes is a very good utility come midfielder. So he's one we've got to look out for. The ruck battle, it's crucial. I can foresee a Mark Blitzarves or Reece Stanley up against Rowan Marshall. Rowan Marshall, we know how his form has been lately, so it really starts there. You don't want Stanley or Mark Blitzarves to give them first use, because it's it's going to be pretty dreadful. you don't mind them tapping it to us, that'll be awesome because it'll go into one of Steele, McRae, Hunter Clark, and they'll drive the ball forward. Okay, that's another crucial matchup. There's no two ways about that. Another big matchup will be Shannon Neal, a very young. He's probably the tallest, probably one of the third or second tallest forward second tallest player in the team. Probably and definitely the tallest forward that Geelong have got. Young, talented forward, but very exciting to watch. So you would think a guy like a person like probably Taru will go on him. I don't know, maybe Jimmy Webster, but he's another player you got to look out for. He can really take the game apart too. He can kick a bag. He's kicked a bag, not against us, but some pretty formidable opposition. So no doubt you got to keep our eyes on him. Tyson Stingle, Mark Bledsoe, Stanley, and then Brad Close. They've got some serious match-winning weapons. We just have to quell their influence like anything, okay? If we're any chance in this game, or at least to be competitive. Because the amazing thing with Geelong is, even if they start fast, they'll probably let you back in, but then they'll dictate and win the game. Or they might not start well, and they'll crawl their way back, like the cat's claws, I should say, and find a way to win the game. So they've got that class, all-round class. They're a very classy side. They've been a classy side for a long time. Ever since Chris Scott has coached them, they've rarely missed finals. I think only once or twice in his 14 or 15-year tenure. That is mammoth. If I was a Geelong supporter, I'd be wrapped with that. It's not an easy thing to maintain your finals appearance in pretty much every year in your current coach's tenure. So fantastic. That's what's going to be a massive test. And I really look forward to seeing what the youngsters can do. Measure themselves against a very good team. See how they go with their effort. Bring some consistency. At the end of the day, we want to try and finish the year on a high. Get a couple of wins. Build for next year. Okay, very important. We're getting some big names. Going to get some younger players. And we're just going to build. Okay. Remember, Ross Lyne's contract expires at the end of 2027. The plan is to, I think, Corey Enright to take over our head of strategy, ex-Geelong Premiership player, to take over in 2028. As of now, that's the plan. So by 2027, Ross and the Saints supporters would love to see the Saints up there, no doubt, in contention of some sort. So that's not very long. Ross has clearly said, as I said in my last video, he doesn't want to take so much traction in this rebuild. He wants to fast track it. We've done our good drafting the last few years with Naz, Windy, Filippo, Wilson, and now we're getting some big names. And we're just going to keep adding, and it gets better when we add and have more depth. I just can't wait for us to see more midfielders, A-grade midfielders being added, because if you talk about St Kilda's deficiencies, one of it is midfield. Either we get spanked in the midfield and we lose, or we somehow win the clearance and we don't win. So that's another area we have to address in the list. Okay, it's pretty glaring, no doubt about that. Defense and forward. Once we get Max King back, and look out for some other forwards, and try and get them all have another pre-season. They get match fitness. I'm not really worried, but it's more than midfield, especially the inside and outside grunt midfield. That's really important for us. Okay. I know it's against Geelong. I know it's at their home ground, but it's a nothing to lose game. We have nothing to lose. It's going to be in front of their home crowd. We'll probably be outnumbered. That's okay. That should be the least of our fears and worries. I know the youngsters don't get feared by the crowd. They don't worry about it. For them, it's just their game, and I like that. So, nothing to lose. Give some effort, and, take the game on. It's okay. Take it on. Remember, GMHBS Stadium is a much smaller ground than Marvel. It's probably the smallest ground in Victoria out of MCG Marvel in the Geelong ground. Probably, 10k, 20k could take. So, it's a smaller crowd. Of course, it's going to be, packed with Geelong supporters. I get that, but they shouldn't worry. Just go in there. Take the game on. Measure yourself. You've beaten Geelong before, and I know that's at Marvel. Try and see what you can do in their own home deck. Just remember the game plan you did in round 2. So see if you can bring something similar. I'm not saying you'll bring the exact game plan, because it's going to be a bit challenging in Geelong. See if you can model around that, and see if you guys can get the job done, or if it'll at least help you be competitive. Because right now, we've been very competitive. As I've been saying, if you look at the attendance of St Kilda games now, it's much stronger than what it was in the first half of the year. I think the big traction for that is we've been getting a lot of game time into the younger players. You've been getting a lot of experience into them, and also we're just trying to do a little bit of movement of positions. Like, for example, putting Rowan Marshall up forward, getting a bit more time for the other ruckmans to Max Heath. I think Max Heath is our debut ruckman. Seeing how he goes, okay? it's all about seeing what works here and there, because we're building for the future. There's no doubt about it. It's pretty glaring. It's very evident. We are building for the future. So let all the outside noise be what they are. Let people say what they want. Let them talk about glaring. I know Cane Corns keeps going up the same, saying it's very glaring. Where do they get all their stars from? Mate, they have got some stars. And you've rated one of their stars in Filippo. You're a big fan of Filippo. Isn't he a star? Or is he not? So, he, at one point, Cane Corns is known to rate the talent. But at the same time, he questions where are they going to get their stars from. There is some stars. They just got to add more to it. Okay? They do have some very good talent, Sinclair. One of the best used talent. But they need to add to it. Is it enough to win a flag? Not really. That's why they're adding big names in the off-season, to try and bolster the rebuild and try to strengthen it. That's it. You see what Hawthorn did? They went to the draft. They got guys like Will Day, John Newcomb, Nick Watson, The Wiz. And they just went for some big names. The Josh Battles, the Tom Brass, Carl Amon, Jarman Impey. But they went to the draft. They've still got a young list, Hawthorn. Although they're in the A, they're still a work in progress. You ask Sam Mitchell in a press conference. He'll tell you we're looking to add to the list. Otherwise, why would they be targeting players like Oscar Allen and Harley Reeds from West Coast, Zach Butters? They know they're far from a finished product, but for their list, they're doing very well in the A, and they deserve to be there. They've got a very good game plan, just getting them to be sitting in the A. But it's also improving their list. They're looking at ways to keep adding quality to the list. And St Kilda, mind you, are no less. They're trying to continue to add more quality to the list. Forget what media say. I know it's glaring that we're offering big money to them, to the players, to get big names. But as I've been saying, you've got to fire a shot, right? You just got to fire a shot. To think whether a player's worth that much or little, okay, that's your opinion. That is the outside world's opinion. The list managers will offer what they think is right for the players. Whether we want to disagree or agree, that's our thing. They're going to offer what they think we're offering. As I said, part of offering big names or offering a shot at big names, you're going to have to do a couple of things. You either have to show you're a destination club and not worry about the money, or B, if you're not really a destination club, if you don't have a great history of winning flags, like St Kilda haven't won many flags, how else are you going to lure them but firing a big shot? Yeah, it might mean the amount might look overwhelming to a player. Like people are saying about TDKs, he worth, doesn't matter. It's about getting them. Because the list manager, Stephen Silvani of St Kilda, sees them as a good fit to the team. And don't forget, some of the players St Kilda are going in the off-season, they've got the age with them. These players whom we're getting fit the age bracket, demographics of St Kilda. St Kilda are one of the youngest lists in the comp. TDK and Lee Kalira are like, what are they, mid-20s or thereabouts? So, perfect. Their age does fit the St Kilda list. That's what matters. Yeah, it might mean that, we have to fire more money to get them. That's okay. And you're all entitled to your opinions whether you think they're worth less or more. We can have all our opinions, but it's not going to change anything. The bottom line is, the list manager is the one who, is in control. And they're the most brainy people to know what it means to get these players. And if that means you have to fire more money, they'll do it. Okay, I have if money is the criteria, okay, how did Josh Battle go to Hawthorn for less money? Okay, he had a breakout year at St Kilda last year, probably his best year in his career at St Kilda. Hawthorn gave him less money than what St Kilda, and he went. They knew he was a great player for St Kilda. He still went for less money, mind you. St Kilda offered him more money to help him stay, or maybe drive up Hawthorn's offer. It didn't worry that he still walked to Hawthorn as a free agent. So there's two sides to this. You might think a guy like TDK is not worth that much. You might think that a guy like Josh Battle's not worth that low either. Doesn't matter. The bottom line is these clubs are getting what they need. Okay? Whether the money looks understated or overstated based on player profile, it doesn't matter to the list manager as long as they can get those players. In Hawthorn, they were looking for a guy like Josh Battle. Remember one thing, as I've been saying in my previous videos, Hawthorn's defence till end of last year was good but not the best in the comp. So they knew there was a little bit of deficiency in their backline. So they went in for guys like Battle and Bryce to make them a bit stronger. It's as simple as that. Okay. Now I don't know how much they've gave Tom Brass. It doesn't really matter. The reality is you need to get your mission. You need to have your mission accomplished with these luring of players, whatever it takes. Okay. I guess, you know, we're not in the list manager's position, so it's probably easy for us to sit here and just evaluate the salary cap thinking, oh, they're not worth this much, they're not worth that much. But it's the list managers who know what's going on, really. They're the ones in talks with the players' managers at the end of the day. What do we know as you know, spectators, you know, except reading stuff on social media sites or on the internet? That doesn't tell us the complete picture. Really don't know. So at the end of the day, what will be in terms of alluring the players, and in whatever facet it is, that's how it's going to be. Okay, so I'll probably leave it there, guys. Looking forward to the game. Please do comment your thoughts and share it. Please feel free to subscribe to this channel anytime, and please feel free to circulate the link to this channel on YouTube to any of your friends and well-wishers who might be interested in this. Looking forward to a very good competitive game, at least, seeing what the youngsters can do. And my next video will be out after the game review, hopefully talking about a win, but we'll see how we go. And I'll leave it there, okay? So feel free to add in your comments, any thoughts, concerns anytime. Take care. You have a lovely rest of the week and a lovely weekend. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye for now.